Have you ever discovered a new handbag brand, whether that's through a photo or you see a TikTok video, something like that on social media, and you wonder, does the bag in person look as good as it does in this photo? Is the quality there? Is this even a reputable company with standards, with morals, and isn't just trying to sell me a pile of junk? I understand. This is why we have videos and reviews out here for things like that. And I want to share a brand with you. Manuel Dressman reached out to me, and we're going to do a review today. Hi, my name is India with Bags and Lifestyle. Thank you so much for watching my video. I am very excited to share my review with you. For the record, this is not the first company that has reached out to me to give my opinions on a handbag. However, this is the first company that I've decided to say yes to, and there's been a couple of reasons for that. For, and also why I am excited to do this video with you all today. For the record, I'm always excited to do a video. But first up, this is the first brand that their products, as well as what brand messaging they want to send out in the world, aligns with where my what I want to focus on with my channel. Let's go ahead and get into the review. So first up, I'll give you a run through of what the bag looks like, and then we will talk a little bit about the company, a little bit about more information about the style that I'm going to share with you, and then we'll close out with my thoughts, the pros and cons of this bag. For the record, they did send me the bag for free. However, there was nothing else attached to it. They just asked me for my honest opinion, and that's what I told them that I would share. Okay, here's the Saka bag, and let's go over it. So it has this envelope style top closure here. It has a woven leather detail, is what the bag is basically made out of. Do you see minimal? You see minimal hardware on it. It's kind of like a more rectangular shape. It comes with a strap, and that's the bottom. And then you just pull it through, and then this is the inside where you can see the gorgeous woven detail, and really you're seeing the inner markings of the bag, which is kind of a cool feature if you are into a more rustic appeal with a bag. All right, let's talk about Manuel Dressman first, and then we'll talk about pros and cons of this bag. For the record, I did use this bag for a couple of days because I really wanted to get a feel for the bag overall, but we'll talk about that in a second. First up, Manuel Dressman is a company that is based in Spain. I don't have kids, so I'm not used to all these noises, but one of my nieces and my nephew over here, and I just hear kids screaming and everything. They are downstairs with my husband, so it was distracting. For a second, I'm like, why are you all doing all this screaming? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this bag, like I said, is the Saka style, which the Saka is a line of woven leather bags that they have introduced on their website, which their website will be linked down below if you want to check out more. Now, I also want to say here before I forget, a special thank you to those folks out there who responded to my community post and said, yes, we want to see more about this bag. And you are the reason that this bag is here today. So thank you. Thank you so much. Now, back to the bag. So this bag is handcrafted in Barcelona. It is made with what appears to be one continuous piece of leather, which is pretty cool, except for the strap, of course. And this one, which is the Saka style, which I did say that there are several sizes, which you're seeing pop up on the screen. This one, it retails for $520. It is full grain vegetable tanned leather. This is the navy color. And it does have multiple sizes. And what I do like about their website is they show you what fits, a sample of what fits in multiple sizes. One thing that I did notice that wasn't on the website that I do enjoy on the Coach website is you see an active video of someone putting items into the bag. I think that's a nice feature to have as part of to help support the photos. If they could do an active video too, just to show kind of different shaped things actively being put in the bag, I think also helps. But I think they are definitely several steps ahead of some companies that I see where they don't even show the interior. They don't have a lot of details about their bag. So I do appreciate the fact that they have put more details into the photos as well as the description that I'm seeing with other handbag companies out there. So bravo to them for that. Let's talk about the cons of it, and then we'll end with the pros. Okay. First off, I definitely want to say that while initially I saw this style bag and I wasn't as intrigued by it, but like I said, I reached out to my community and several of you, thank you again, several of you said, yes, we want to see more about this brand. And I was thinking about getting it in the orange, but decided to go with a neutral color instead. Now, first off, I will say it does smell like leather when you first get it. It still smells like leather now. It's been a few days since I have opened it for sure, but definitely has a strong leather smell, which is great. It is a little noisy. I don't know if my microphone is picking it up, but do you hear that? So that remind I don't know whether that will decrease over time as the bag softens. The next part is going to be, I do prefer that it had more of a softer suede lining on the inside. Now, granted, because of the style of the bag and you have that leather strap adjustment, I don't know if that's possible, but I would like when I put my hand into the bag to feel more of a plush, soft suede. Next up is going to be the closure. As you can see here, here's the closure of the bag, and you have to slip the, hold on. You have to slip it down like this in order to get it open and close the bag. And what I thought about is that I wonder if it's possible that as this softens and loosens, will this easily slip in and out? Because this is the only way it's keeping the bag closed. So if I am carrying it and it's heavier and this is loose, will this pull the flap, will it pull my bag open when I don't want it to be open? It might not because this is threaded through, but that is something that I thought about and put it as a con because you won't know until it wears over time. The next part is going to be, oh, also there's no pocket. So you're enjoying the beauty of the weaving pattern, which is nice, but I do prefer to be able to access my phone without opening the bag. So I would say that's also a con for me. Also, the I guess what I would call coding or kind of, I guess I'll describe what I'm meaning here and you'll know what I mean. It's probably easier to do that because I don't know how to do a title. I wish that they did some sort of extra finishing here, like maybe a thicker coating, a capping, like maybe take another piece of leather and put kind of corners on here to cap it, or something for this part and these parts here. And the reason I say that is because as I was slipping this in one time and I wasn't fully paying attention to how it was going in, I kind of bent this a little bit and I quickly caught it and pulled it out. But I don't know if you can tell, like kind of right in this area here, it seems like you could easily wear or bend your bag inadvertently. Also, have you seen those bags where like over time when things start to kind of like push upwards as the leather gets soft? And so I think if there's a cap on here, it would help with the wear and tear, in addition to it being more secure as this loosens up. But then also it kind of keeps this to be straight and beautiful versus over time it possibly could be folding up. So capping here would be great, as well as, like I said, a capping here, because I had the same situation as I was closing it. You'll notice here that as I had the bag, I noticed that I was closing it and then it was getting caught a little bit. See that? So I had to push it in like that to make sure it cleared all the way. And I think something covering this part would help with the wear and tear to keep that leather pretty instead of bending it up. So I think that would be also helpful, and that's why I listed that as a con. Also, while we're on the kind of the corners, is I think this should be wider. So that way it does help clear the bag easier. So if that's a little bit wider, then it's easier that this can cover that up and it doesn't potentially get caught in the wrong spot. Next up, also, this one's going to be a pro and a con, but last con is going to be the strap. So as you can see, you can adjust the strap to here at the bottom, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, if depending on how short you make this, let's see, I'm just going to pull this to the side. Okay, there we go. So let's say I wanted to adjust it to here. I didn't secure it, but let me secure it so I can show you better what I mean. All right, so as I've secured it there and adjusted the strap, first off, when you need to close it, you have to pull open the little button there out of the hole, and then you pull this one at the bottom kind of this way in order to adjust it to the side. But you see this flap here? I wanted to make that really short like I'm doing here. And you'll have items and they'll sit on the inside of the bag. Let me take this. A purse and a purse. So I can show you. So I have that on there and it's keeping the bottom part down, but you see how this is kind of creeping up on the side? I wish there was something to secure that. So either like another loop made of leather to slide down to keep it out the way, or maybe magnet here or somewhere so that way it can attach to the side, because all I'm thinking about is like if I don't put a lot in here, this is going to get on my nerves. Also, as it gets longer, like see how it's feeding out the, like it's sticking out like that. So I think a little bit more execution on the belt strap would be helpful. Now on to the pros. Since we're still on the belt strap, I do like that is adjustable. That is helpful because everybody's not the same size. I also like that how thick the leather is. Like overall, this bag does have a really good thick leather, which is nice. And this feels like a really good leather belt. And it feels like over time, this leather is going to soften and mold to your shoulder and it's going to wear really well. So I think this is going to be great, especially when you have like that well-worn belt that is just perfect. I think this strap is going to do that. It feels really good. Also, this bag fits a good amount in it, and I was able to fit a decent chunk in here, which was great and easily get to my item. So I think that is a pro of this bag. I think it's deceiving because of how small it is, but it is, I think it is a good size for kind of on the go everyday things that you need, as long as your everyday things is not everything in the kitchen sink. The other one is going to be, like I said, the thick leather is good. I think the branding, the minimal branding is a plus because when people see it, they're going to see that this is a good quality leather bag. I think the style will attract people. You don't know the brand until you open it, and you still won't know the brand because it's just letters. So that's cool. And then the other thing I made a note of is I love hardware, but at the same time, if hardware can scratch. So I think it is a plus in this case because you have a rustic style bag that there's minimal hardware because there's less things to scratch up potentially. So that is nice. There's these little buttons here on the inside. I don't know if I call them buttons, but whatever those are to secure the leather pieces. That's pretty much the hardware and that's it. So it's pretty cool how they've designed this with hardly any hardware at all on it. So those are the pros. I would say overall, I like the bag more when I saw it in person than on the website. I think it's a thick, gorgeous, beautiful bag, but there are some things like I mentioned in the cons that if those are going to deter you, you know, you may want to evaluate whether you want to jump down there. But I would say that I think overall the design is good and they thought about a lot of pieces well. Hey y'all, future me here. I forgot to do closing remarks for the Manuel Dressman bag. So we're doing it now. I'm in Alaska, so hopefully you can see the pretty trees in the background. Well, I like the bag a lot more than I thought that I would. At the current price point, I would like to see a couple of changes made. And the first one is going to be the folding clearance, maybe like a quarter of an inch, somewhere between that and a half an inch should be added. I don't think a half an inch is, yeah, I would say a quarter to a half an inch, somewhere in between that range, I think the lid should be a little bit wider to allow when you put more bulky items in there to allow you to clear it. And that would help to clear the little corner that I had pointed out. Also, the other thing is I would like to see the corner edges and the little tongue part that pushes inside to secure the bag in the strip to be some type of finish, either a capping on it, a leather capping, some type of coating, or something of that nature, or a little piece. I don't know what, but something there in those areas to help with decreasing the amount of wear and tear you would have from just everyday mistakes. Obviously, a bag is going to have natural wear and tear, but you don't want it to wear too quickly. And I feel like it would do that just based off of the two things that I had experienced when I used it over the weekend. Overall, I am appreciative that Manuel Dressman reached out to me and saw value in my channel and wanted to have me do this review, and I thank them so much, and I thank you all so much for watching this video. I know it's a long one, but I wanted to be very detailed in order to help people evaluate whether they wanted to jump in and get one or not. So thank you all so much. Leave your comments down below. Bye.